I'm Nancy, and in this video, we'll talk about black and white thinking, also called all or nothing thinking, also called splitting. Now, black and white thinking is a thinking process where you think in extremes or absolutes. Someone is either all good or all evil. Someone is either with you completely or against you. In this style of thinking, there is no middle ground. If you're in a rational mind right now, you might not think in black and white. You might not diagnose yourself as someone having a black and white thinking pattern. But what happens when you're triggered? I think everyone experiences black and white thinking sometimes, but it becomes a problem when it's a pattern of thinking. It comes back over and over and causes immense emotional pain. It can cause you to make rash decisions like quitting that job or breaking up or never seeing that friend again. So, if you look back in your life and you feel that, okay, this is a pattern that I see in my behavior, then I think it's time to dig a little deeper into this. It could be something like this that I'm having a conversation with a friend and they don't let me complete. They interrupt and then counter what they think I'm going to say. Now, I feel frustrated. In my head, I'm this rational person and always giving people chances and stuff like that. But I'm also thinking, I can't take this. This is just not fair. And they always behave like this. And then I continue the thinking process and I think they hate me or, they have no respect for me. And I might lash out at them. At that time, I'm probably thinking that, okay, I need to end this relationship. Rather than having a friend like this, I'm just better off alone. I will start afresh. This episode could look different for different people, but this was one such example of how all black thinking or all white thinking could happen. For sure, it's one of the biggest symptoms of emotional dysregulation. And it's a distortion in thinking, it's a distortion in narratives, and life can get quite painful with it. I have made a process for myself to be able to identify and interject when a black and white thinking process is happening. And I'm going to share this with you. The first thing to do is to recognize the black and white thinking. One way is to look at your behaviors because your behaviors can show you're emotionally distressed. Think whether you're using words like always, never, or impossible or perfect or something like that, right? These are all or nothing words where you're sitting on one extreme end of things. So the idea is to replace these words with a lot more grayer words like maybe, sometimes, many times, depending on what actually happens, rather than just using hyperbole and saying always and never. So it jolts you back into reality. And all black thinking could feel like the end of the world. You're so sure that someone has wronged you, or that there's politics at workplace, or people are against you, that you all you want to do is either confront or exit the situation, quit your job, end the relationships. Only by knowing that you tend to feel that way, that you tend to think that way, you can run interference. Now, one of my favorite methods of running this interference is by asking evidence from myself. What evidence do I have to support this line of thought? I think this is such a beautiful process of asking for evidence, because if there is evidence, if there really is something going on, you get your evidence and it's good for you because you can actually make better decisions for yourself. But if there isn't, you can either leave the situation like it is and don't overthink about it, or you can actually gather more data. Either way, you will stop yourself from running wild in this all black thinking. Recognizing all white thinking is a little more challenging. So when you're thinking all white, the world could look like it has a zillion rainbows. It makes you forget that thinking in extreme positive is also a sign of splitting. Now, I'm not saying that don't be happy and always look for problems and so on. I'm not saying that. The problem with all white thinking is it makes you forget the red flags. You could be just looking at some problems and you can go, maybe they don't mean that. So you're constantly discounting the problems. You're constantly not looking at the red flags, right? My problem is that the culture of toxic positivity has us all believing something that's not rational. So it makes us forget, like I said, that extreme positive is also, where you could actually lose out a lot. The ultimate effect of this could be that you're discounting red flags, you're not looking at potential problems that you could have in the future, and you would just enter into something that's not right for you. To counter all white thinking, you want to ask for evidence here as well. Now, once you've recognized this pattern mid episode, what do? The answer is zoom out. One of the things that really work well for me is admitting out loud that I am thinking in black and white. So, what it does is it brings me out of that zone almost immediately. It is hard because, when you're in this sort of thinking, you're all in. You would just want to hold on to whatever emotions you're feeling and you wouldn't want to let go. But we want to come out of it. We want to stop the pain. We want to see more clearly. So admit, say it out loud when you recognize that you're thinking this way. That helps a lot. You can also do other things to, help yourself come out of it, like take that walk or do some breathing exercises like 478 breathing exercise. It's my favorite. Or you can do some grounding exercises to help you come out of it. Now, in all of this, if you're feeling too overwhelmed, if you're feeling too much, start with behavior. Take that walk, or take that shower, or that nap. Write things down, write a journal. It will help you in completing your thoughts. It's also going to give you a little more time to process. Now, once you're relaxed, it's a good idea to understand the episode. The goal here is to be able to understand yourself and prepare yourself for anything similar that comes up in the future. At this point, you can remind yourself to check your feelings in light of this evidence that you got. What absolute words came to your mind? Like always, never did you use the word perfect or impossible. Consider this possibility that someone's behavior that incited this episode in you might not have been about you. The whole situation might have been about something else going on the other person's mind. Remember, breaking free of this black and white pattern of thinking is a process and it takes time. So be patient. And also, don't forget to be kind to yourself. Hit like and subscribe if you like the video. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment. See you soon. Bye bye.